Hello there and welcome back to part 2 of building the Eduard 148 scale A6M3 type 22. So let's get going where we left off in part 1. We're just doing the canopy now, which is always good to give it a good clean because all the grease and grime off your fingers. We do get some nice canopy masks with this kit, which is they are rather nice and more convenient. It's quite easy just to sort of place them on. You just got to follow instructions on what goes where. Once you've done that, again, I like to clean the inside because again we don't want those fingerprints. We're going to glue this in now with, I like to use Tamiyax thin cement for the front and rear part of the canopy. This is just that it glues in better, and you kind of get rid of those micro gaps as well. So for the center part of the canopy, I'm actually going to mask this up and spray it separately. Really good to just use a cocktail stick to press that down around those edges so you can get it nice and neat. Now you want to use like a number 11 blade, a nice new one, so I'm just kind of putting a new one on. Always good to use something like pliers. It's just a lot safer and saves you cutting your hands to pieces. And as you can see, you can really cut that masking tape so much more easier, and it just slices right through and you get a nice neat finish. As you can see there, nice and neatly ready for spraying. Now the center canopy, I have noticed over the years that like using blue tack kind of leaves smears and you have to clean it up later. So for this one, I'm just changing my routine here and using masking tape first just to protect that canopy, and then I'm going to sort of, you know, tape into place a cocktail stick so we're all nicely hands free when spraying, which is what you want to do with all your pieces, is make sure you're not touching them really, so you could spray everything all around. So that's all ready. We're into spray stage. Let's get some gloves down and get the model cleaned. A nice toothbrush or something like that just to get any bits of sanding dust and debris off, and IPA or rubbing alcohol, basically the same thing, just to clean off again grease, grime and bits and all that good stuff. It really helps when putting your main coats down, gets a good nice start finish, and helps it stick as well. Just using the cockpit green for the interior canopy here. So when we look through the canopy, we're going to see that interior green. Vallejo primer is up next with 50/50 of, I like to use homebrew thinners, which there's a video on how to make that on the Genesis Models website if you want to check that out. My PSI is around about 18, and we just start with light misty coats, right, which helps the paint stick to the model. Then we go into light coats, which is kind of like your main coat, and that's going to look wet, but you don't want it dripping or pooling up or anything like that. Just looks wet, and that's what you're going for. 2 coats, maybe 3, will give you good coverage. Hopefully, as you can see there, give it some time to dry, and we're going to move into pre-shading. Now, pre-shading, we are sort of targeting those recessed panel lines and, you know, making them darker by adding black. You want to get your biting point so as, you know, the paint's just coming out and you get that nice sort of lines, but don't worry about making them all neat and square and stuff. Like that little bit of randomnesses and mistakes kind of adds to the flavor of weathering. Got some brown here for inside the panel lines because I'm sort of following the recess rivet lines with a different color, a lighter color, so it just doesn't bring them out as much as the black color, which by the way I use 040 burnt umber. As you can see, looks quite cool. You can also, I'm just doing the underside here, I mean you could also do it as a mottled effect, which I'm doing on the underside. Same colour, it's just squiggles and figure of eights and just keeping it all nice and mottled. So there's the mottling all done. Doesn't maybe look as good, but you know, it does look good when we've got the main colours on top. When it comes to black, you know, priming black and using white as your pre-shading is a better way to go. When you deal with black colours, it's kind of like think opposite. So onto our main colour, which is XF76, a really good colour by Tamiya for that was it that greyish green that you see on these zeros. Again, we're just spraying as we normally would, but we've got to be careful not to kill off that pre-shading, right? So you're spraying it down and you can see that pre-shading just coming through and showing you that lovely weathering, but you just want to be careful. Now I am going to do some chipping effects on the top side, so I'm kind of putting a primer colour on there where I'm going to do that heavy chipping effects. So I've just thinned down the paint so that the paint is more transparent, which means okay, we're going to have to do more coats of paint to cover that, but we're going to have more control in stopping losing that pre-shading and killing it off. So just putting on that chipping effects by Ammo, you basically just spray it on like a gloss coat, and it basically protects your primer and allows you to do chipping, which we're going to be using dark green 2, which is XF70, again a great color by Tamiya, which is going to be our top color. And again, we're just going to kind of start off with that misty coat and 2 light coats just covering the whole of the top side. So to get the chipping effect, we just add some water to kind of rehydrate that paint, and we're just going to start scrubbing at it with kind of like a rough-ish brush, and you'll just start to see the paint chip away and show that primer underneath, which gives us that gorgeous effect of some really nice heavy worn paintwork that you see on these zeros. So really nice effect. You could do this all over the model, but I will show you how to do another type of chipping as well. And you can do scratches. Scratches are cool because you can just so easily just scratch that with a wooden cocktail stick. I use the colour H3294 for doing those leading edges sort of stripes, and then we're going to put a gloss coat on, our usual gloss coat by Mr. Hobby. With gloss coats, I do like to kind of do sort of like a medium coat. A medium coat's where it looks a lot more wetter than a light coat, but again, you don't want that dripping or pooling up, and it just makes things so much more shinier. Onto some NATO black now, because we're going to do the main sort of coats for doing black now. Black's different, as I say. We're going to try not to kill off that white pre-shading we've done. NATO black isn't going to be too blackening in your face, and you could just see that white just coming through a bit, and it's looking like a dark grey, not a full black. And we're going to do some bleaching with this as well, where we're going to just come in with a medium grey. We can highlight it a bit, we can follow the panel lines, but I like to follow inside the panel lines and do that mottled effect, right? I like with black to do lots of mottling. I think that really works well with black. So coming in with actual black now, but it's going to be very heavily thinned down, so it's going to kind of going on more like a filter than more kind of covering it and making it black. That's going to blend things in a lot and sort of feather things in and kind of make it more sort of a kind of a nice sort of natural black. I do also like to make the paint a bit thicker, so it's 50-50 paint, 50-50 thinners, and mottle real black, full black as well, to give us a really nice mottled effect, hopefully, as you can see looking at that now. So going into the decaling, we're going to do the usual, let's get them dipped in water and stuff. I do find these decals are a bit of a pain as well, so we have to use things like the Mr. Mark setter and softer range for these kind of decals. Just always sort of start with that, getting the setter on first, put the decal on top, and then we put some setter on top. So we're sandwiching the decal with the decaling solution basically, and I like to leave these for a nice good 15 minutes and then put another coat on top and really sort of get that sort of decaling solution softening things up. So I'm just putting the second coat on there. Just be careful of drips, right, because they can, if they pool up, affect the paintwork if they're left pooled up on paintwork. Once it's had a couple of coats and dried a bit, get rid of that moisture, get rid of any air pockets, and then we can start to get a blade and cut into it. This is going to again release the air in things like recessed panel lines, and it's going to help us get decaling solutions into those recessed panel lines to really give us that kind of like sinking into the recessed panel lines, to give us that sprayed on look. So this is where softer comes out, which is a bit more of a stronger solution, and we can paint that on top and it will go into those recessed panel lines and give us that look, sprayed on look. Now we'll leave like residue, decaling solutions do, so I like to clean them up before doing any more spraying, which we want to then sandwich our decals in with another gloss coat. And I like to use Mr. Colour Leveling thinners when using GX, what was that, 112? I've already done that gloss off camera, but we're into some weathering where we're going to use like a sludge wash, right? We have like dark dirt here. Sludge wash is basically pigments, water and washing up liquid, so kind of quite easy to make yourself. There is a video on how to do it on the Genesis Models website as well. I'm going to use black for the top side, because black, this dark green, you know, when we have dark colors, we got to be careful that we don't sort of not be able to see it. So black's going to kind of bring that to the foreground a bit more. Just the same with, we have this black engine cowl, right? We're going to have to use a lighter color to show off that detail. I let it all dry, and I do like to put a second coat on just to make sure it's really all in those recessed panel lines and recessed rivets. And I have shown this before, but like, you know, we just kind of just clean that off with a damp damp kitchen paper towel, just to bring out all that lovely detail, as you can see. Right, on to some more chipping, because chipping's kind of like the main thing with these aircraft. We're going with a sponge technique. We're coming back with XF76, like that primer colour, and we're going to sort of dab this and get it like a dry brush kind of thing, and we're going to really target those leading edges and those worn areas, but kind of do it a lot heavier than you would normally to really bring out the whole look. As well as, you know, we've just put decals down, so the decals could do with a bit of chipping as well, just to not make them look so perfect and neat. Even with a paintbrush, I like to target those corners of recessed panel lines to really show that the corners are getting sort of a lot more chipped, and really get those leading edges nicely weathered and chipped. So that kind of finishes that. We're also going to come in with some silver as well, just to show more heavier chips that have gone right down to the paintwork as well, just lightly with that one, lightly as you probably would do a normal sort of aircraft as well. So into some weathering, we have the Tamiya Master weathering sets. I like to use their rust. This kind of effect is good for like those feathered streaks, big feathered streaks, but when you want to get something a bit more pointier, you know, we do have these Mr. Hobby weathering liners. You can apply them nice and straight, and you can use a bit of a damp brush to blend them and sort of get them a nice sort of blend point. But you can just use them dry with a dry cotton wool bud, and just keep rubbing at it, and you sort of begin to feather those streaks. And don't forget to, you know, clean up those areas so we have a point of origin. Now we come on to some oil brushes. I'm using Dust and Dark Brown. We're going to do some fading here. This is going to give us some really cool sort of dusty, dirty areas where the ground crew get in and out, and the pilots. With this, we just want to use a nice flat brush, but it's dry, no thinners on it, and we just begin to dab and brush to then blend those oils in to really have this kind of nice, dirty, dusty looking surface, which is really actually a really easy technique to do, and I find it better than using pigments in some cases as well. So nice effect there. Now we're on to the final post shading. The final post shading, we're going to use black, heavily diluted, so it's very transparent, and we just want to just kind of maybe almost highlight certain dirty areas, and we can create a bit of like gun soot as well by just doing a little bit of flicking, and we can just see that where the guns are and stuff, as well as like engine exhausts are kind of a good one, just to show the soot coming out of engine exhausts and all those kind of stuff, or even little panel lines just to make them look a bit worn than normal. And we can go ahead and whack our matte coat on, which is one of my favorite parts. Nice 50-50 mix with that matte UV varnish, around about 18 psi, and we basically spray this on just like any other base coat or gloss coat, light misty coat followed by about 2 light coats. Right, and then the model should start coming alive, which I like, and we can remove that masking tape. Nice and careful when removing them. We don't want to scratch anything, and we don't want to peel any paint. This is why you want to just take your time peeling it. Don't rip it off like a band-aid. Always good to give it a clean, just to, you know, get them a bit more shinier. Just getting out some cheap glue here. When it comes to those parts where we just stick on the little odds and sods, I like to use super glue. I like how it gives you a clean break if they break, rather than Tamiya's thin cement will just rip off. Right, so finally a last bit of EZ line, a bit of super glue, and we kind of glue the first EZ line, but then the second part we want to give it a tug so it's got a nice bit of tension, so it's nice and straight, and again, bit of super glue will get that sorted, and we can cut it nicely off with a number 11 blade. I have found that I do like to actually paint these now, because over time they will start going grey, so I do give them a nice little bit of paint now these days. So that is it. That is the final end of part 2, and there it is, the Zero, all nicely done. I hope you've enjoyed it. I really did like the chip inside of it with this one, but other than that, please do go check out the Genesis Models website, where you will find loads and loads of videos, step-by-steps and rapid video builds, and a lot of content all over there for more and to help support us here at Genesis Models. So as always, until next time, my name is Bobby Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.